And we're live! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Big Girl and Friends. My name is Christopher Wilson, also known as Big Girl, and I am delighted to welcome you to our 70th episode, which is the penultimate show of our 12th week of Season 1. I can hardly believe that's coming out of my mouth. It has been an exciting ride, and we are going to grace you, our viewers, with another fabulous ride tonight with our fabulous co-host and our fabulous special guest. But before I invite those two fabulous gentlemen in, I would like to remind our viewers that this has been an ongoing fundraiser for the Actors Fund of Canada, located at afchelps.ca. The Actors Fund is an incredible lifeline organization for the professional a community of performing artists, whether we are on stage as actors or in front of a camera on a film or television set, or behind the scenes on set, or even behind stage. This organization is a vital lifeline to support artists when we are in non-COVID times struggling and need financial support when we can't do our craft. You can imagine when resources that have been graciously provided by the Government of Canada, such as the CERB or the CERB, run out, which for many will be in the next calendar month, that this vital organization will be called upon to support us, because it's not probable that we're going to be able to gather en masse together for the foreseeable rest of this calendar year. So organizations such as the Actors Fund of Canada are incredibly invaluable to support us during these tough times. If you are in a position to donate $5 or $50 or $500, we welcome every generous donation, and we assure you that every dollar that you contribute will be graciously appreciated and used by this vital organization. I'm very happy to report that during the 11 and a half or almost 12 weeks, we've raised over $31,000 to support the Actors Fund of Canada, which I'm very, very grateful to all of our generous donors for. We also have a wonderful representative from the Actors Fund of Canada standing by online. So if you are able to take out that credit card, all you need to do is put in afchelps.ca in your web browser. As you're continuing to watch the stream, click on the big capitalized donate now. You can make a credit card payment, and one of our representatives from the Actors Fund will be more than willing to shout out your generosity so that we can pay homage to your wonderful contribution during the show. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the stream the fabulous Mr. Avery Saltzman, who is the co-artistic director of the Harold Green Jewish Theater. He was a guest previously on our show and knocked it out of the park, and I'm delighted for my penultimate show of season 1. He's joining me as my co-host. Please welcome Mr. Avery Saltzman.
Happy penultimate show! Happy to meet you.
Hi there, Nancy Kalamansky. I love when you comment just so I can say your whole name. And thank you, Sophia. Happy 70th. So
happy 70th, Chris. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I don't look a day over 69.
How does it feel? How does it feel? Is it sort of mixed?
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it's been so part of my fiber during this COVID time. You know,
Right.
I'm admittedly a little concerned about what the world's going to look like for me next week. I'm sure there's going to be, you know, what do we call those? There's showmances, which refers to actors that connect in a non-platonic manner during the run of a show. But we also experience every day a little death whenever we, you know, have an artistic process, especially when we're bonding with the people with whom we work.
Sure.
There's always that letdown. So I'm sure that there's definitely going to be a void, but I know it's important for me to just take a little breath and to, you know, come to terms with what COVID is. I've been very positively distracted, but distracted nonetheless. So, you know, just take an opportunity to reflect on the wonderful things we've accomplished.
Well, what you and Ryan have done is nothing short of miraculous. I mean, it really has. It's bonded a community. It's rallied together the support that we need for one another, and with the Actors Fund, and it was just a, as we say in the Yiddish world, a mitzvah, a good deed, you know. And it's a great expression called tikkun olam, which means the repairing of the world. You know, to repair the world. And you and Ryan and what you have done over the last weeks have given tikkun olam to the world. So great work.
It's been a joy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I mean, our wonderful guest tonight is going to take up a lot of beautiful energy.
Airing.
No, you have a long-standing relationship. You're allowed to say those things.
We do have a lot. Yeah, no, he's great.
But before we welcome this lovely guest to the stream, please really briefly, thank you, Duff. Happy Gramps. Thank you very much, Duff.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Duff, on the wonderful stream that you've been delivering. And speaking of online, if you would be so gracious on behalf of your wonderful company, the Harold Green Jewish Theater, can you just briefly remind our viewers of something exciting that happened in the last couple of weeks? You guys presented online.
Well, it was our 13th season, and it was our bar mitzvah season, and we've been planning this for a long time. Of course, we wanted to do a live bar mitzvah, and we had everything planned. We had the halls and the meals and the people and the stuff, and when COVID hit, we couldn't do anything. Oh no, I hear those chords and I'm back to 18 playing Tevye. Perfect age for playing Tevye too. But anyway, we had a virtual fundraiser, which was great. Hi, Clint. We had a virtual fundraiser, and it was for the Actors Fund, and we raised wonderful monies. Fantastic. So it was great. It was a labor of love. It was hard work, as you know. And
also some support, of course, for your company for its ongoing effort.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of sponsors and donors that we give a chance to say thank you to, And if I could do a shameless plug, starting next Wednesday, you can check into our website, hgjewishtheater.com. We're starting our talk show called Conversations on the Green.
Love that. Conversations on the Green. That's a great title.
We had it many years ago that Ralph Ben-Mergy of CBC hosted. We had wonderful guests like Garth Dubinsky and David Mervish and Robert Lantos and Stephen Wright and Michelle Lewis. Great, and audiences got to be in the theater and listen to people talk for an hour. So David and I are hosting our Conversations on the Green every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And we're starting with Phil Aiken, who's the Obsidian...
just previously the Obsidian artistic director,
and he directed Actually, and he won the Critics' Choice Award for directing that for us. And he also directed Driving Miss Daisy and thanks, Merle, Driving Miss Daisy and oh my God, and The Whipping Man with Sterling Jarvis, and Sterling is also our guest. So we're going to talk about their careers and what it is like to be Black in Canada and in the world these days. So I think
an important first dialogue to kick off the series this time.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Well, I'm thrilled that the Harold Green is able to continue to engage with its patrons and the public at large. So if anyone, please go to the Harold Green Jewish Theater website. You can just put that into Google and you'll get their website, and they'll have information on there about their upcoming exciting conversation. And it will be happening how often, do you perceive?
Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. an hour chat. The following week is Colin Mockery and Deb McGrath, and then we have Sheila McCarthy, and then we have the dynamic Gabby and Jake Epstein, and then we'll look after that.
A bunch of completely uninteresting guests.
That's right. What about me?
Well, that's fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we are welcoming for our penultimate show. It's like this gentleman who has appeared on the Broadway. He has appeared in blockbuster Hollywood movies, and he's a fabulous dad, and we want him to talk about that. And he's a dear friend and an old friend of yours and a newer friend of mine. He's a big girlfriend, and we are delighted to welcome to the stream the fabulous and the talented Mr. Darren Baker.
Hi. Yay.
And look at those fabulous glasses, Darren.
Thanks. I got them for 15 shekels in Israel. True story.
Wow.
I don't know what that translates to anymore, but that's the truth. Yeah.
And we said on the onset already, over your right shoulder, you have a lovely floral arrangement that matches the decor of the inner studio of the Big Girl and Friends. Very nice.
Love it. A happy accident.
So how are you, dear man? Where are you in the world? Tell us where you are situated geographically.
I'm at Avenue Road and St. Clair.
Oh, well, that was very specific. Vanetta Stromberg's, hello.
Hi, Vanetta.
God, hi, Vanetta.
That's the first time you've chimed in. I mean, you've probably seen the show, but the first time you've chimed in. Lovely to see you. Hello. They're all coming out for the penultimate show. So you are, and with whom are you, if we're allowed to ask, have you been in your COVID bubble, in your social isolation?
Well, I'm going to show you. This is who I've been in my COVID bubble with. When I'm not with my daughter, this is who I share my apartment with.
Barbie!
I have Ruby, if you're watching, they're all all waiting for you to come tomorrow. So these are the girls are here, and then I'll show you.
Those look like frozen Elsas.
Those are all, we have every frozen Elsa. But I want to show you who I spend a lot of time with when Ruby's here. This is Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel. This is Rapunzel's less fortunate sister. Let's just make sure. Yeah. We found her on the street, and we decided that we were going to take her in. We haven't quite figured out what to do with her yet, but she's coming along.
You've adopted Rapunzel.
Rapunzel is Rapunzel's less.
Well, that's how Darren. That's how your career started, wasn't it? Someone found you on the street too.
I actually think it was you, Avery. We're starting already. Exactly.
Well, I want to know. Let's just start. How do you two friends know one another? I want to know. I want to know the back histoire.
You talk first, Darren, because I was thinking about that today, and
it's like I can't remember.
Basically, what he's saying here is, I have no idea, and we're really not that close. No. Avery and I met. I'm pretty sure, Avery. I was doing Les Mis at the Royal Alex back in the day, the original Toronto cast. And I distinctly remember there was this place. Somebody, if you remember, Duff might remember. We used to go to this place, Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, my apologies, Shabbat Shalom to you both.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? It's perfect. It's just about sundown, and it's Shabbat Shalom. A peaceful Sabbath to everyone. So the show's gotten very Jewish on you, didn't it?
It's great. I should have had Gabby host.
By the end of this, everyone's just
though.
It's true.
Anyway, I distinctly remember this bar we used to go to, and it was down the steps, and it was just down the street from the Royal Alex. And I remember, but prior to meeting you, my grandmother was friends with Avery's mother.
That's right.
And my grandmother would always say to me, my grandmother didn't talk like with a Jewish accent, but I'll make her Jewish for this because it's Avery. She'd say, why don't you meet that Avery Saltzman? He's doing so well. And Avery was. He was on TV, he did commercials, he was on Broadway. Why don't you meet that Avery Saltzman? So I met that Avery Saltzman, and we hit it off. And as it turns out, I moved to Los Angeles right after Les Mis closed, and Avery moved to Los Angeles. And we connected there. I think that's where we really began our friendship.
Right. Were you guys there for pilot season? I don't know about that, but that's a term I'm just pulling out of my big girl butt.
Well, I had moved there for 5 years. How long were you there, Ave?
I was there 2 years, which felt like 10. I mean, it's a tough place to be. I mean,
question to both of you. So you're both Canadian born, yes?
Yes.
So did you guys get visas, green cards?
My dad was born in Harlem, in New York, and my grandparents were from New York. So I didn't know that.
Half Americano.
Yeah.
And my dad had moved to the States and got his green card, and he sponsored me. And it was always a dream of mine to go there. And so I went there. I was there sort of pursuing television and doing dribs and drabs, but then got a Broadway show, went to New York for what I thought would be a year, and stayed for 20 and a half more years.
And don't you remember that? And when I was living in New York too, Darren, we were friends in New York also. And
definitely had a relationship in both cities.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a fun spin.
I remember, Avery. I remember you staying with me on one of your trips, and my first apartment was on West 45th.
That's right.
It was a 5th floor walk up,
right?
And but it was a great apartment, and I remember Avery staying with me.
Yeah.
And this is a cheeky question, but I'm assuming back when you were doing Les Mis and you guys were going to LA that you both had different hairlines then?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So what? And it's funny because Avery said something
about me Gramps tonight. I'm just gonna make everyone the victim of the age jokes.
Well, here's the funniest. I think I'm looking something up as I tell you this, but I think what I heard Avery say, and it cut out a little bit, was that you said Darren Baker will take up a lot of. Did he say air or hair?
No, I think he said. I think I know this. This is a former headshot of yours, isn't it?
Just wait. I'm going to say because this is around the time. This is around the time. Oh, well, I'm going to show you the first one. I never show this one ever, and this is way prior to Avery. This is when I look like a Q-tip.
Oh yes. Actually, you look like a chia pet.
I looked like a chia pet, and then we tamed it down a bit. But yeah, lots of hair. We had lots of hair. We had lots of hair.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. Look at that punum.
And I thought it would always be that way. And I'm going to tell you, this is the truth. A couple of years ago, they came up to Toronto to audition for Les Mis, and they asked if I would come in. And I was like, because I was a Marius understudy and played Marius, and they asked me to come in for Thénardier.
Right.
It didn't last long.
Oh, someone is saying hello to you, my dear.
Oh my God, Amy Weinberger. Oh, who I met because I was doing the pre-Broadway tryout of Stephen Schwartz's Working at the wonderful at the Oslo Theater in Sarasota.
Wait, say that again. You did the what of Working?
I did the pre-Broadway, the reworking of Working that Lin-Manuel had written songs for. And it was a stellar cast directed by Gordon Greenberg.
Oh.
And we did it in Sarasota. Then they took it to Maggie Bono. It's an inside thing. They took it to Chicago. And then when it went to New York, they used Wayne Duvall, who Robert Duvall's cousin, great film actor. You've seen him in a million things. And he took over the role. But I loved the show.
Oh, that's amazing. And by the way, based on my cheeky comment, Clint Butler says, I got your back, gentlemen. The bald and the beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. When my mother, when she died at 98. She was about 97. She still kept telling me, why don't you grow your hair longer in the back so you couldn't comb it all forward? That was her thing. Until the day she died. That's what she kept telling us.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Darren, what is the COVID crazy, as I've termed it, for my last 12 weeks? What does that look like for you? How have you been spending your time in your lovely home?
You know, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. It's been a lot of walks. It's been a lot of my partner Liz has a dog who I feel is like my dog Ollie. Yeah. Many of you who follow me on Facebook know that Ollie is a huge part of my life. So is Liz. So
we're glad to hear that.
But I want to tell you something. Liz will tell you, Ollie always comes first.
Yeah.
So it's been long, wonderful walks at 7 a.m. prior to work. It's been social distance visits, which are, we've become accustomed to them, so they become easier. But in the beginning, they were frustrating. But now that the weather's nice, it's nice. You can go and sit with somebody and sit in someone's backyard. And so we do a lot of that. I had a birthday that, in spite of it being the pandemic, was so special. I think because there are less distractions and we are, we escape by going to dinner, seeing a movie, running here, running there, because there's been less. All we really have are each other. Mm-hmm. And so there's been Zoom calls, there's been Zoom parties. I had a reunion with the Cagney musical that I just did. Well, when an actor says I just did something, that's 6 months, just so you know. Yeah. But but we had we did a birthday party for my mom the other day on Zoom, and the greatest gift through this is my daughter Ruby, who I hope is watching. Ruby has been in Toronto, thankfully. She lives in New York City with her mom, and they came up here to escape the intensity of it being the epicenter. We're grateful for that. So Ruby and I have had a long-awaited catch-up time.
That's so nice.
And it's been very, very special.
Oh, that video that you graciously shared of Ruby going into that bedroom.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, and the dolls. It was just, as I said.
She's a trip. She's a trip.
Oh, she's just so articulate.
She's also, I'll tell you, and if Ruby's listening, like the other day, Ruby likes to watch, she calls them videos. I'm really old, so I call them cartoons. Yeah. And Ruby likes to watch videos when she has breakfast, and it's great, but she's very much into story and storytelling, and she can't focus on anything else. So the other day I said, Ruby, I'm going to have to turn off. It was not Paw Patrol. It was PJ Masks for all you parents out there.
You were doing some
PJ Masks. Anyway, PJ Masks. And I said, Ruby, I'm going to turn off PJ Masks if you don't eat your eggs. And she said, Daddy, you're making a big mistake.
Hey, Darren, what have you learned the most that has surprised you as being a dad?
Taking responsibility for my words, because she hears everything. And it was less so. Let's find a cute picture of the two of us. This is an older picture, just so everybody who doesn't know Ruby knows who I'm talking about.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So what have I learned? I've learned that I'm old, really old, and that playing. Here's one more. This was yesterday. That's Ribs.
Oh, she's got such a vibrant smile.
Yeah, she looks like you too.
She's the best. So I've learned that. See, a lot of my relationship with Ruby, we see each other as often as we can, but she's in New York and I'm here. And then there's work, and then there's, now there's this. But I've learned how creativity and connection via this platform has become such a gift, and how to sustain storytelling and imagination and listening to what she needs. And it's ongoing. I mean, there's so many things I've learned, and there's so many things I'm learning. And I always say that Ruby, I think, is my greatest teacher, and she has been. And I know I know something about love that I never knew before. And and also this is neat. And my teacher, Uta Hagen, used to talk about, well, we've all heard this, right? About super objectives. I never knew what a super objective was until Ruby came along.
Right. Beautiful analogy. Gorgeous.
I really and sometimes it's so quiet, and sometimes it's really intense, and sometimes it's silly as anything. Yeah. Which way Ruby and I always say silly is good. But I know what super objective is. Well, so how old's Ruby? Ruby just turned 5 in April. Yes, you have a 5-year-old and I have a 26-year-old. So, oh my God, do you really?
Yeah, yes. But I adopted her when she was 11.
Oh my gosh, what's her name?
This is my 11-year-old who's now 26.
Oh my gosh, she's beautiful.
Her name is Lindsay, and expecting her own child. I'm going to be a grandmother.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
When are you going to be a grandfather, Chris? When are you going to be?
She said she got December. She's a December baby. So yeah.
Wow,
that's great.
Yes, that's right. She can say. You remember, Dov?
And she can say. Is she one of us?
Yes, and actually, her whole family came of the legacy. Yeah, she's steeped in the performing arts. She is smartly pursuing something else, but she definitely.
Good for her. Now you're doing. If we're going to get back to some Jewish words, you're kvelling right now.
I am kvelling.
You are. You're kvelling. You're shepping naches. It's so nice.
I'm going to learn so much Yiddish tonight. This is wonderful. Well, speaking of kvelling, I want to kvel more. Would you share some music with us, dear Darren? There's my alliteration.
Let's do it.
I've been accused I like my alliteration. So, dear Darren, you don't have.
I'm going to dial it up.
You're going to dial it up, dear
Crazy
Darren.
Christopher. Crazy Christopher. Okay, let's find it. I'm seeing an email from the Bank of Montreal. Okay, here we go.
We got you, Goo. We got you.
Here we go. Let me know. And you know what? Like come up and give me a up or down if the volume's too loud or too not.
Sure.
Or not loud enough. Here we go.
Yay.
Snap your fingers. It makes it more fun. True story. Here we go. She hates my mama. She hates my daddy too. She loves to tell me, she hates the things I do. She loves to lie beside me almost every night. Well, she's no lady, she's my wife. The preacher asked her. She said, I do. Preacher asked me. She said, yes, he does too. Preacher said, I pronounce you 99 to life. Oh, she's no lady, she's your wife. And I can't remember, no, when I met her. Seems that she's always been hanging here on my right arm. And I can't remember, no, when I ever thought I just can't live without a woman's charm. Even though she loves the smell of French perfume. Even though she loves to walk around in her high heel shoes. All I know is I'm the one who pays the price. Oh, she's no lady, she's my woo. I can't even say it. She's just no lady, she's my woo. See what I mean? Oy. Well, she's no lady, she's my... I'm coming, dear. She's my wife. Gotta go.
That's great.
Who wrote
And I
that?
dedicate that to my ex-wife. No, who I'm sure isn't tuning in. I'm kidding.
Who wrote that, Darren?
That was Lyle Lovett. And that is Lyle Lovett, the great Lyle Lovett.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan. And one of the things that I did in New York a lot was and it worked for and against me, because everyone's saying, what's he going to sing? So, and often they want to hear, standard Broadway stuff. And often I would come in and just sing crazy Lyle Lovett stuff or whoever,
That's amazing. We love obscure stuff that you bring to the table. That's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Well, I'm curious about to know. So we were talking about how you grew up in Toronto. What's that say? Let me see here. It's apparently I'm dramatic. Yes.
This is a gift from friends of mine who I love for my birthday.
Nice.
You know who you are, CB. And
so tell us how you got into the business known as show. What was your journey? So, was it family connected? Was there someone in your family that was already connected to the arts, or musician, or what gave you the bug? What caught you?
Well, I know the moment the bug happened. I went to a camp called Camp Winnebago as a kid, and I was the youngest camp member in I was 72. I was 7, turning 7, because I turned 7 in May, went to camp in June, and I was at the time the youngest, and I was the mayor in Hans Christian Andersen's. They made like a little musical out of it, and they put a big top hat on me, and they put one of my counselors brought a tux jacket, and I remember it. I walked out on stage, and I got a laugh. And it didn't upset me. I didn't think they were laughing at me. I just went, that's pretty cool. And,
you're like, I like this.
And I think that was it. And then, of course, high school, and then the Leopold's Theater, right, where I did my sort of first, that was where I was introduced to professionals. I did my first play. Let's see if these names even mean anything to you. Do you remember Helen Hughes or Anthony Parr? Wow. They were Stratford actors. Yeah. I did a play called Second Time Around by Henry Denker. I'll never forget it. And there was an actor in it, Terry Slater, Marcia Nichols. There was Pam Hyatt, the great crazy Pam Hyatt played my mother.
Legendary Pam Hyatt, yes.
Legendary. My entrance I was 16 years old, and it was my first entrance, and it was our first preview. It was a 3-act play, and I was in the last 15 minutes, and I opened the door, and Pam Hyatt would drag me across the stage to the other side, and they would howl. And the first night she held my ear and she went, hold for the laugh, hold for the laugh. And she talked a lot like that. She was like the Canadian Elaine Stritch.
She still kind of does. It's true.
She's extraordinary. She's one of a kind.
Oh, she's quite incredible. Where was the Leopold's Theater located in the city?
So the Leopold's Theater was Yonge and Sheppard, just north of Sheppard. Okay. And they've torn it down. Yeah. The wonderful Reva Stern used to run it.
It was part of the North Y. It was part of the North YMHA. It was
part of the North Y. And they've now built a new one, but we don't know if they built a theater in there.
They built a space that could be turned into a theater.
Terrific.
Turned into a bar mitzvah hall or a thing. So it wasn't a theater proper.
Right.
It was unfortunate. It would have been nice to have the theater up there, but that's another
But
story.
you were really, I mean, you were
I was immersed in it, and I wanted to do it. And my mother was a model briefly, and then went into business. And
that's where you got your good looks.
Thanks. Hi, Mom. And I always knew I wanted to do it, but they were pretty hell-bent on my finishing at least high school. I was chomping at the bit to go.
Yeah.
Here's where the interesting thing. My grandfather's first cousin was a very famous actor named Lou Jacoby.
Duff McDonald said you worked with William Shakespeare as well. You're horrible, Duff.
Yeah, well, that's because you didn't get the role, so they hired me. My great-grandfather's first cousin was Lou Jacoby, a very famous character actor. You'd know him. Did you ever see the movie Avalon or even Arthur?
Yeah.
But in Avalon, his famous, you cut the turkey. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember. See the movie. Anyway, and played the uncle in The Diary of Anne Frank on Broadway. I think he was nominated for a Tony. My father's first cousin, Rick Moranis, I sort of grew up watching him.
Wow.
And then my uncle Howard, I have two last names. I'm Darren Shore Baker. I have two dads, and my dad Shore, his brother's Howard Shore, who wrote the music for Mrs. Doubtfire, Lord of the Rings, Analyze This, Big, Splash. So I was immersed and surrounded by people who had done well in show business.
Yeah.
I keep waiting to do as well as they've done.
Oh,
That's great.
But I always believed that you could make a living in the arts.
yeah. Well, I guess I'm feeling cheeky tonight. When I was in my teen years, I used to go to Canada's Wonderland, and I got to see some wonderful shows that I know that you were a part of, that I got to see. So we have a little special guest that wants to come on and say hi from the Wonderland days, Mr. Mark Cassius.
Hey, good to see you all. Make this quick. I need to brush my teeth.
Bye.
I know. Hi.
Hi, Mark.
You wanted to,
good.
Mark. Hi,
Hey,
Marky.
Abe. Hey there. How
So,
you doing?
Mark, did you meet Darren at Wonderland when I was a
Yeah.
young person
Here comes the
dying
story.
to be on
Here
the
comes the story.
Oh no, I'm not. You want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
I met Darren at a fitting. Before we started rehearsal proper.
Oh no.
We had. Wait. Yes, it was a fitting.
Mark?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was fitting.
I know you want to. We'll talk about the good stuff, like how I taught you to tap from the back of the house, doing everything in reverse. But, but you see, I had skills. When we sat down, we were separated by a screen, and he was being changed on one side, and I was going through stuff on the other side. So in the pause,
There was a row of clothes.
And in a pause, and I can't remember exactly why or how. I didn't purposely go, "Hey, how you doing?" I think it was one of the costume people moved stuff. I was sitting, he was standing on something, in his underwear, and then she moved stuff, and I went, "You call those underwear?" And that was the beginning of a beautiful thing, a beautiful friendship. That's what
And were you wearing underwear? Or were you wearing a dance belt, Mark Cassius?
I was for the show. I wore a dance belt, but
I want to tell you something. That was the only show I wore a dance belt in my 37-year career, and that was the first and last show.
I don't know how
they
made
us wear them.
You were a tenor then.
I was a little thinner then.
I said tenor.
Weren't we all?
Tenor,
Oh,
not
what?
No,
I said a tenor.
Oh, a tenor.
Oh,
Tenor.
a thinner tenor. That's
I was a thinner tenor.
Oh,
You're a thinner
I was a tenor.
that's funny.
A tenor. That's good. Mark, what were your first impressions of the fabulous Darren Baker back in the day? Am I allowed to ask what year that was?
He was two things. He could sing the shit out of everything, and he was funny.
Yeah.
And he gave me a lift to work every day. But
and he was That's lovely. And
That,
you-
no, that developed. But honestly, the first two, real as gold. He could sing the shit out of everything, and he was funny. You know,
Mark,
maybe he was just funny with me because we were just so good.
yeah, no. We were funny, and you know what? Mark is. I mean, there are lifers, right? Like there are people that just come in and that's it. And we have been all over the world. We've been in some cities at the same time. We've been apart for a big part of our friendship. I'm 55. We met when I was 18.
Wow.
And I have to say that Mark is one of my deepest, truest friends.
Nice.
Wow.
Lovely.
That's amazing. Was Wonderland one of your first gigs, Darren?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so
I
after
was there from the beginning.
yeah. Dun-dun-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun, dun, dun. Do you remember that? Let's do it, Mark. Dun-dun-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. It was 2 years of the best of Brothers.
But think about this. Think about this. Sergio Trujillo, Todd Noel, David Rogers. Keep them coming, Mark.
Oh my
Some
goodness.
big careers came out of that.
Lots of big careers.
Oh, I know.
Christine Donato,
Donato,
Renee Murphy.
Murphy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really solid careers came out of
No,
that.
it was it was Paramount Wonder. It was
And
Camilla
what's
Scott.
amazing is that I always used to go and we'd do the show and it felt like Broadway, and then you'd walk out the stage door and Scooby-Doo would walk by.
totally.
Oh, they checked to see if you stole toilet paper.
Exactly.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But what was also fun is you could ride roller coasters between shows,
Oh, cool.
God,
which I often did.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I know you have a couple of musical numbers for us tonight. Would you share some music with us again?
sure.
Mark, stay. We bring you in. We'll harass later.
Okay.
So let me find this. Sorry.
No, good.
This is this was a song I directed personals in LA, which was an off-Broadway show that started a lot of careers, including the wonderful Jason Alexander, Dee Hoty, Trey Wilson, who's passed. What's her name? Laura Dean. Laura Dean from Fame was in it. Nancy Opal.
Wow.
Oh my! It was Marta Kaufman and David Crane, who were friends. They wrote the show. I directed it by default in LA because the unbelievable Kay Cole, Maggie from the original Chorus Line. I'm dropping all these names tonight. She was going to hire me as her assistant. She couldn't do it. They gave me a shot. It was an extraordinary experience. And every night that I would hear Valerie, who was my cast member who sang this song, Dee Hoty sang this, I thought, wouldn't this be an interesting song for a man, even though it was written for a woman? So here we go.
Yeah.
That's my warm-up. I never believed that I'd meet a girl with whom I could spend the rest of my life. I never believed in that one perfect mate or that one charming girl. And since I never believed that any of that crap was true, imagine my surprise when I met you. I met you, and it's trumpets and bells and it's birds and it's words like rapture and joy. And boy, I couldn't believe it. But I always believed sooner or later you'd somehow slip up and you'd say something dumb, some thoughtless remark, and I'd suddenly pause and be nothing special, because I always believed that no one could stay that good. Imagine my surprise when you could, and you did, and got better and better while I just stood by, falling deeper. And then again, I couldn't believe it, but I woke up one day, found my defenses, my well thought out, carefully chosen defenses. My ironclad, hard-boiled, insoluble walls had layer by layer been melted away. And I still can't believe I met a girl with whom I could spend the rest of my life. I still can't believe that you're really gone. The girl of my dreams is gone. I still can't believe that it never occurred to me I might not be the dream for you. Imagine my surprise.
Oh, so beautiful. Such beautiful
But
music.
that has been remedied because I've met the girl of my dreams.
Oh, and we love her. Liz is lovely. Very briefly early on, when you were talking about reunions, you had performed in a wonderful, wonderful production called Cagney.
Yes.
And I had seen this production in one of its incarnations. I think the first time you were part of it in Drayton, Ontario. And you played...
Oh, wow.
The
Look at that.
Role as Jack Warner sitting in the desk there. And one of the co-writers, the creators, and played the title role of Cagney was my dear, dear Robert Creighton, Bobby Creighton, who I've known since I was in middle school because we did theater together in Kitchener-Waterloo. And he decided to deke out of a family event and come in to say hello from New York.
Are you kidding me?
Bobby Creighton wearing the Toronto Maple Leafs mask.
Are you kidding me?
That's
my wife's delivering my
I also,
headphones.
Bobby,
Can you
I
hear
also...
me?
Yeah, and I saw you wearing a Canada t-shirt too.
You betcha, baby.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
What's
I
up?
want to tell you. Go ahead, Bobby.
I came on just in time to hear you sing. That was gorgeous.
Thanks, brother. I love him.
We
Me
love each
too.
other. That's the good news.
You know,
This is a great photo of you two.
Beautiful.
yes, except interestingly enough, they ended up wigging me to look more like Jack Warner, and the wig was gorgeous, like beautiful. So if we ever do it again, you'll see it with hair. Bobby C and I did Bobby's first Broadway show together. It was a short-lived show with Jackie Mason that we were the co-stars of.
Oh, wow.
But as short-lived as the show was, our friendship has blossomed into just a beautiful friendship, and he's a wonderful colleague. And I've never enjoyed being on stage with anyone as much as I love sparring with him on stage.
He's fab. We love you, Bobby.
We did the dance.
What do you say about the show?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Sorry, my headphones were draining. You were breaking up when I put my headphones in, so I'm taking them off. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you with the kids, Bobby?
One second. I don't want to take up any time. I just wanted to say hi.
Bobby,
Tell you what a dream this guy is to work with. Hang on. I'm doing this.
Darren, what was the name of the
Putting
show
those
you
away,
guys
so now I
did?
can hear you again. You'll get the
The
sound.
show that Bobby and I did was called Laughing Room Only, and I have the best story ever. It was a crazy show, and it was a crazy rehearsal process. You can't hear us, Bobs? Bobby C, look where he is.
Oh my God, that's so pretty.
That's the Hudson.
Can you hear us, Bobby?
Can you hear us?
I'm putting my headphones back in. I'm sorry, guys. I lost audio for some reason. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Oh.
Can you hear us?
We can.
But isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
I'm on the cliff overlooking New York City.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well,
Why am I?
it's okay.
You want to
Why
say
am I
goodbye to
muted?
Bob?
I'm so sorry.
Bobby, we love you.
Can you
We
hear me?
love you.
Yes or no?
We can hear you.
You can hear me.
You can't-
Okay. For some
Can you
reason I
hear
can't
us?
hear you, which is really bumming me out. But I
Oh.
wanted to just surprise you. Darren sent me a text message today to say,
I
"Hey,
did.
buddy, miss you. You know, if you got time at 7." I said, "Oh, family will check it out. I'm here. We're having a socially distanced. We finished homeschooling today. So if I look
Tell them-
exhausted,
Wait.
call me next week. I'll look better. It's been an event. But Darren, I miss you. I love you, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't hear you guys now. Is anything clicked? Did I do something wrong?
We can't hear you.
There's my newly 7-year-old daughter, and there's your buddy Darren.
Happy
We love
birthday,
each other's kids.
RJ.
There's my two.
I love
And
these guys.
That's Ruby's dad, as you know. Darren, they fell in love with Darren when we were out in Salt Lake City. Okay, I'm going to get off of here because it's Darren's interview. I'm so glad I get to see you. I'll leave you with the sights and sounds of New York City. Now I'm a news correspondent.
Yeah.
This is great. Hey, and Christopher, congratulations on all the money you've raised and the dedication you've done up there. I mean, I know tomorrow's your last one. You were wise to get Darren Baker on before it was over. But congratulations, buddy. A huge gift you've given to the people, and the money you've raised has been amazing. So congratulations.
Nice
Love
to
you
meet
guys.
you. Nice to meet you.
This technology. We'll see you
I
next
love
time.
you, Bobby.
Bye, Big D.
Darren,
That was great.
You know what? This feels like this is your life. I'm having the best time. So Bobby and I did this horrible show. I shouldn't say that. It was horribly wonderful. And and we hang in Joe Allen's. If you hang on the wall in Joe Allen's, it means you've either been in the worst financial flop, the worst critically panned flop, or the shortest run, or all three. We qualified for all three.
you were next to the Moose murders.
Oh yeah, with Gary Beach, God rest his soul. We were in the show with Jackie Mason. We did an out-of-town tryout for 4 months. We came into New York, we re-rehearsed it, and the rehearsals were going just disastrously. And Jackie would leave in the middle of a rehearsal, and you'd say, "Jackie, where were you? I went for a Poon Danish." Like he'd go, "Well, we rehearse." Anyway, so we're doing the show, and our director and I kind of came to blows about something, and I got so upset, and I was marching around the room going, "How can we be funny when everybody's yelling?" And then Cheryl Stern started crying, and it was anyway. I go to the door, and Audra McDonald, Kevin Kline, and Uma Thurman's ex-husband. What's his name?
Don't know, but
Actor. Who was she married to? Why am I? Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, Audra McDonald, and Kevin Kline were listening at because they were rehearsing at 42nd Street Studios across the hall, and they were listening. And when I opened the door, they all went like this. And I went to the elevator, and I was shaking. And at the time, I smoked. And they went, "Are you okay?" Because Kevin Kline smoked too, and I used to have cigarettes with him. I shouldn't say this. We've all quit. Anyway, he looked at me and he goes, "It's called Laughing Room Only, but everyone's crying."
oh my God.
But you know what? I'm not kidding. For years in New York, I would go to auditions. Oh, and people would say, like, it was such a calling card. It was such an amazing icebreaker in an audition. And but this is a true story. Jay Bender, a famous casting director in New York, and he still is a fairly well-known casting director. He called me and he said, "I love Jackie Mason. I want to see the show." And I said, "Okay, well, we're closing in 2 weeks." The producers wouldn't let us give us free tickets. We had, like, in a 1,200 seat theater, we maybe had 300 people a night at the end, and they were walking out in droves. Like, they just hated it. And so I got him a ticket. All the cast members put $20 in. We got him a ticket. And 5 minutes before curtain, I got terrified that he was going to actually, like, think that I thought I was in something good. And so I ran to the box office in my costume, and I wrote a note that said, "You can leave at intermission." He said,
You've done 7, 8 Broadway shows, Darren?
6 Broadway shows and a whole lot of pre-Broadway tours, regional. Yeah, but yeah, I'm proud of that. I want to do it again. Anybody in New York watching?
That's absolutely it. Did you have a song that you said you wanted to share with your lovely daughter?
Well, really, I have two. The last song I'm going to do is a song I sing to Ruby. Well, not so much anymore because now she goes, "Daddy, my ears hurt when I sing." But when Ruby sings, her ears don't hurt. And I find that amazing. But this is a song about, you asked me about becoming a parent. So this is baby Darren, by the way. This is baby Darren. Ruby has affectionately put a necklace on him. And but this is baby Darren. So, and she committedly named him that. So let's do this. This is just a little tiny thing, and then we'll do the last one. I guess it's been so much fun, by the way. And here we go. Here we go. Ah, do we do baby? Ah, do we do baby? Wait a second. I went up. We have to start again. I guess. Wait, can you give me guys a second?
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go. Let's start again. This is good. I'm going to tell you the greatest part about tonight is that I was terrified to do this. I haven't sung since Cagney, which is almost a year now, or 8 months. And I was so committed to learning my lyrics. And I did this song in a show 15 years ago off Broadway. Let's do it again. Here we go.
I love it. Live stream, baby. Live stream.
I do we do baby. This is live theater. I do we do baby. Ah. Well, I dread that I'm regressing. With my head, this baby's messing. Weeba dooba dabby doo. Once I became a parent, I became quite incoherent. Mama, dada, woo hoo hoo. When I'm hurt, I get a boo boo. When I sleep, I make a soo soo. Sweepy, sweepy, whoopy, sweepy, swoo. In the car, I go vroom, vroom, vroom. In the John, I make a boom, boom. Wappa, 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 poo, poo, poo. Can I stop this? God, I wish it, because I sound just like a dipshit. Yeehaw, 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 booby boo. Now I hear my Ruby cry, cry. So it's time that I go bye-bye. Dooba dabby deeby dubby, Ruby, I love you.
That was so sweet.
That was beautiful, Darren.
Oh my God. From one of the most underappreciated, but incredible, critically appreciated, but one of the great off-Broadway, ran forever. I love you. You're perfect now. Change. And somebody should do it again.
Absolutely. Darren, when you think about, I mean, you've had such a wonderful and varied career. When you think about people that have, with whom your path has crossed, like mentors, directors, who are some of the people that come to the fore of your mind as being some of the most influential and inspiring people that have guided you and supported you along your career path? Well,
the first person that comes to mind may not be famous to those who hear her name, but many who know who she is. Carol Rosenfeld she's a teacher and the head of the one of the programs at the HB Studios in New York. She used to come up to Toronto when we had something called the Center for Actors Study. Kurt Reese and Diana Reese used to run this. And Carol came up and I started to work with her when I was young. And then I had the great fortune of moving to New York and being on Broadway and being invited to sort of move up the ladder. Right. But she's been an incredible support to me, an incredible teacher. She shifted me up to Miss Hagen's class, Uda Hagen. We never called her Uda. She was Miss Hagen. And so they were really influential for me in terms of my craft. And in terms of actors and people and artists and directors, I adored working with Trevor Nunn. and he was just wonderful and soft spoken and kind and honest, brutally honest. I loved working with Betty Buckley.
Oh, wow.
And would watch her religiously. I mean, just an extraordinary talent.
Yeah, just teachers you can absorb from purely by witnessing their work.
And then there's people who like I think about the Rhonda Cooper was my longtime agent for 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
She was wonderful. And then, as sometimes things happen, people move on. The last 7 years of my career, I have been with Rich Kaplan.
Yeah.
And I have been represented in LA, Toronto, New York.
Yeah.
And he's as first rate as they come. He is, he believes in me and what's been such a gift for me in my career. And I think I'm just getting started, because everyone said you'll grow into it. You'll grow into your age and your body. And I really believe this firmly. I'm
looking forward to growing into my big girl body, but that's another story.
Girl,
tune in. I was like, tune in for that tomorrow.
Whose leg is that? That's what I want to know.
Listen, there's a ton of people, and I'm not just saying this because you're. Yeah, let me try. Let me see. Oh my God, there we go. You know what? I'm not kidding. Avery and David are on the list of people who, since I've come back to Canada from day one, Mitchell, Marcus. But Avery and David, even if there isn't something in their main season, which I know there will be when they come back. I had to get that in. I've never been subtle, although on film they tell me David and Avery have included me in so much over the past 10 years, from falsettos to Stars of David to Every Benefit. I just
want to say too, because I've known Darren for such a long time, and getting a chance to direct him in Stars of David and seeing him play Mendel in our production Falsettos that he was nominated for a Dora for, it was a joy to work with such talent and heart, and it was extraordinary. It's sometimes maybe difficult to work with friends, but in this situation it was such a give and take, and it was just a lovely experience. I love this man, and we don't see each other enough, but I think we shared so much of history together, you and I, my friend.
We have, and the gift, Avery, thank you for that. The gift of this is that if you have good fortune to get to know somebody that well and then learn and grow with them, because I've become a much better rehearser, a much better artist, a richer, deeper, Ruby's made me a better actor. Yeah. There's no doubt. Life has made me. But then you have a shorthand.
Yeah.
You have a shorthand. Can I say something? Because I know we're going to be off really soon. I want to say something, and I know you have it rolling. The AFC helped me this year. For the first time, I needed their help. And COVID and the pandemic, and they were there for me, no questions asked. And, for years and years in New York and Toronto, I've been an avid fundraiser with casts for Broadway Cares, for Equity Fights AIDS, for the Actors Fund Canada. Please, folks, you don't know how much they do for us until you know. And I had to make a phone call, and it was hard, and they made me feel there was no shame in it, and they helped me, no questions asked. So if you can give $5, anything, the AFC helps artists who give so much. So just thank you, AFC, and thank you, Christopher. You guys have made such a difference, and you've given us all a moment to feel good about ourselves and to share and to connect. And I'm a huge Big Girl fan.
Oh,
Me too.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to say the AFC, we're withholding some of our donations tonight. Our first donation came in this evening from my dear friend Justin, all the way from Brisbane, Australia, for $25. A former student of mine, a lovely woman named Nancy Bordenero with a gorgeous voice, $30. Thank you, Big Girl and Friends, for 12 weeks of laughter, love, and light. And I know I like the alliterations, and yes, I have seen every single episode. Thank you, Nancy. Another donation from Carolyn Berger for $50 in honor of
God love her.
Mary, and one of the staff members of the AFC, Lilia Sultanova, for $40. Huge thanks to Christopher and everyone who took part in Big Girl and Friends over the past 12 glorious weeks. Oh, that's wonderful. And I wanted Darren. I was preoccupied with Bobby's technical issues. There were some wonderful comments. Vanetta was just commending you on your wonderful gift of storytelling through song. Merle was talking about how she saw Howard Shore back in the day in the Fantastics at camp before you were born. Brothers Gallagher, I love the connections. Clint Butler, one of the similar hairlines, adoring you. I think is this your lovely partner? No.
This is Hallie, Liz's daughter. Thank you, Hallie.
Because you were apparently wearing a Cagney t-shirt earlier.
I wore it all day today.
That's so great. And Gabby enjoyed working with you immensely doing Stars of David. And Duff is just a heckler because that's Duff. He asked earlier if you needed a downbeat. Duff, you're a jerk. Anyway.
I just needed a lyric. Do we get to do the last one, or should we call it a night?
No, are you kidding me? Of course we do. It's my show. I get to do whatever. I want you to sing that. Before you do that, I guess so. Oh my God, are these words going to come out of my mouth without me like Tammy Faye Baker raccoon tearing? Tomorrow we are concluding our first season. And I'm saying our first season because we have an intention to return in September. Because I don't think we're going to be able to be on stage for a wee while. But Big Girl and Friends is going to be transitioning to a new weekly format. And I think the format is going to take sort of the weekly theme the weekly shows will be themed. I'm not sure. Every week will be a different theme, whether it's from a show or a subject matter or whatever it is.
Good. So you have the Jewish theme here. Me,
that's for
Gabby.
Wait for it. Absolutely. From the Jewish diaspora, the musical Jewish diaspora. But yeah, so we'll be doing once a week. I'm thinking maybe Mondays because the Dark Night, that's traditional. And I think that's something I can certainly sustain through to the end of the calendar year. But tomorrow wraps our first season. And the guest tomorrow will be myself and my dear co-host Ryan Kelly, who's Associate Director of Toronto Musical Concerts. And our host tomorrow, it's going to be wild for me not to be in the driver's seat, will be the fabulous Alessandro Costantini, who was our first guest.
Lovely.
The fabulous Gabby Epstein, who was also in our first week, and the fabulous George Maswell. So Alessandro, Gabby, and George Maswell will be the hosts of Ryan and I, and we don't know what we're in for, but...
Oh, that's great.
Well, you rock, my friend.
Tomorrow's at 7 o'clock. It'll be longer than an hour. I know that, but that'll be sure. And if you want to give us a little hashtag in social media, give us a hashtag Big Girl and Friends. Darren, to have the opportunity to share in the beautiful, varied career you've had and all of the incredible artists that have been fortunate enough to work with you, as well as you work with them. It's been such a wonderful journey this past hour and a bit, just through all of those adventures and the people that love you. Mark's going to come back after we roll the credits and we're going to take a family photo. But I'm so incredibly grateful to you for talking about your beautiful daughter, Ruby. And we're so grateful that you have had such a lovely time with her up from New York and have made such close friends with all of those beautiful dolls.
Yeah, well, if Ruby's watching, Rosie's here. Rosie's here.
Oh, by the way, Hallie is actually Liz tonight. Liz has hijacked her daughter's YouTube page. So
that's hysterical. I love you. She loves you all. I love you, Gabby. And Jeremy, I love you too. This is Pink Monkey. For Ruby, we have to do this. It's Monkey Butt. Okay. Sorry.
No, keep going.
This is Heart Cat. We love Heart Cat. Of course, this is Grandpabby, and this is Piggy. And they're all here. They'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Ruby. I love you forever and a day. Forever and a day. And now we're going to do a song. This song, we're going to do it a little faster than we do it. I think Mark Camilleri was in a rush. I love Mark Camilleri. Mark Camilleri, like if we were doing a show off Broadway or on Broadway, Mark would be like, he was going to miss his train to get to wherever he needed to get to if he started playing faster. So this song I sing to Ruby and have most nights I put her to bed. And this is our song, but I think right now with COVID and with the state of the world and with the challenges many of us are going through. I think what we really have in this humongous world, we have each other. Yeah. And I think that that's what James Taylor was trying to say in this.
Well, we're so grateful to have insight into your beautiful home, sharing with Liz, commenting and seeing Ruby on the phone and with the dolls, and we just wish your family love and light. And
thank you. You too. And I'm sure Liz will have more comments off the air. She'll tell me what she liked. She'll tell me what she. No, I'm kidding.
And Chris,
Liz doesn't love show tunes.
Thank you for allowing me to take part to honor Darren tonight too. I really appreciate it.
Avery, you've been a star.
Avery, I adore you. Your family, my friend. Your family.
And Avery, I'm going to tune into your talk show because I will have more time on my hands. and someone
Avery, clearly, if you need somebody to talk for an hour after you've gone through everyone else, you know where to go. Okay.
You'll be number 70.
Take it away, Darren. It's all yours. Please do, my love.
Here we go.
Avery, you're incorrigible. Incorrigible.
Yeah. Listen to me and I'll sing you a song. The time will go by till you never know where it's gone. Talk to me and I'll tell you my life story. Walk with me, I'll tell you my dreams of glory. Here we are, walking hand in hand, somewhere on the sand, at the end of the land, at the edge of the shining sea. Drifting through time and space on the face of a little blue ball falling around the sun. 1 in a million billion twinkling lights shining out for no one. In the middle of the night, here we are, like sparks in the darkness, speaking of our love, burning down forever and forever. I don't know if I told you, but you hold my heart in your hand. And I found out something about you, Ruby. Without you, I'm a lonely man. So though I'm always saying I love you, Ruby, I do. Ruby, I do love you. And though we are as nothing to the stars that shine above, you are my universe, you are my love. Here we are, like children forever, taking care of one another, while the world goes on around us, all around us. Good night, Ruby. I love you forever and a day.
Ruby is here watching. She says, "Hi, Daddy," and she liked seeing her toys.
We'll see you tomorrow, Rubalicious.
Time well spent. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. I guess Amy's in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And
an incredible educator.
Oh, thank you, Amy. We need incredible educators. And Duff, well, thanks, Duff. Darren, thank you so much for sharing your authentic heart and your beautiful stories and your generous spirit tonight on behalf of the AFC. And Mr. Avery Saltzman, you know I'm a mad fan, and I'm so grateful for your presence and wonderful encouragement. And Vanetta says, love is love is love.
Love is love is love. Yeah.
And there's lots of it here.
Yes, there is. Lots of big girl love. Tomorrow, unfortunately, big girls do cry. That may happen. Just warning you. Tune in tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, 7 o'clock for our final wrap up of season 1 after 12 weeks. My goodness gracious. And I invite you two beautiful fellas to stay on while I roll the credits. We'll take a family photo.
Great.
Everyone else, thank you for your generosity. Thank you for joining us. We'll say love and light. And Ruby, good night.
A time like none we've had in the past. Stuck in your home, how long will this last? You're feeling anxious, stress starts to grow. A different opening for a different show. Weeks ago you rehearsed and rehearsed. It's all shut down now.